The center was named for Dr. William E.S. Flory, who is a renowned author, economist, and citizen of Prince William County. Dr. Flory was a 17-year member of the Prince William County IDA and tirelessly worked to promote the civic, economic, and community viability of our region. Dr. Flory restored Bel Air. He was instrumental in establishing the Weems Botts Museum in Dumfries. We were very fortunate that Dr. Flory chose to make our community his home. From the beginning, the Flory Center has worked hard to bring diverse individuals and groups together for the benefit of our community small business. We thank you for coming today to celebrate this event with us. Delegate Miller is going to be our Master of Ceremonies. Please join us.
Thank you, Marion. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jackson Miller. I'm the Majority Whip in the Virginia House of Delegates. I represent the city of Manassas and most of the Bristow area of Prince William County. It's an honor and pleasure to be here today to MC this event in such a nice, lovely location with a beautiful setting at just a great time of year with so many very powerful and important media professionals, business professionals, and as well as our legislative leaders, both at the local and state level.
Well, a quarter century is a significant span of time, and that's just how long the Flory Small Business Center has been at the leading edge of economic and business development here in Prince William County. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy said that a nation is best membered by the men and women, and by extrapolation, the organizations and structures that it honors. And so today, those of us standing before you represent a total of 140 members of the Virginia General Assembly in recognizing the Flory Business Center for this 25 years of service to our community. Over the course of our military careers, Ruth and I lived in nearly a dozen communities around the country. And during that time, we saw a lot of local organizations in operation. And the lesson that we learned now that we settled in Prince William County in 2001 is that of all those communities that we observed up close during the course of our military career, none can match the vitality and the vision of Prince William, its people, its local leadership, and the organizations that serve it, such as the Flory Small Business Center. And so today it's my privilege to present to the board, I believe we're going to make this presentation, this Virginia House Senate commending resolution on behalf of the Flory Small Business Center. I'll step down there and hand it off to you. And in the end, let me just say this. This is nothing more than a piece of paper. What is of value here is that it conveys to all of you and to the Flory Business Center the appreciation and the respect of 140 Virginia legislators representing 8 million Virginians. Thank you so much.
What I'd like to start with in presenting our Advocate Awards today is the Prince William County Board of Supervisors. Okay? If I could have the entire Board of Supervisors come up over here, and if I could have Chairman Stewart come up here on the podium to say a few words. I'm going to let you all know that in 1990, the Board of Supervisors approved the concept of a small business assistance center, and although they didn't have the funding for it at the time, they were innovative in wanting to help small businesses that were already located within the community. Once the Flory Center was created through the efforts of the Prince William County IDA, the county began funding the center as well. Both the county and the Flory Center consider this program to be part of the ecosystem of economic development in the county. Chairman Stewart.
Thanks a lot, Jackson. Well, on behalf of the board, and I know that we have a couple more board members, Ms. Cadigan and Mr. Noe, I think they just walked back there. I can't tell you how proud we are of all the work and how much we value the work of the Flory Small Business Center. The small businesses do, of course, do create most of the new jobs in Prince William County. And for all of your efforts, we just want to say thank you very, very much, and we will continue to support you going forward.
Prince William County Industrial Development Authority to please step up. We're going to present you guys awards, and we're going to present the Advocate Award to Colonel Frank Mejia, Chairman of the IDA for Prince William County. Note that I want to make here is that the Prince William County IDA knew that the county wanted a small business assistance center, and they picked up the challenge. The IDA founded the Flory Center, and it's been their primary funding source for 25 years. The IDA's innovation was recognized with a statewide award from the United States SBA.
Tell you, you're here and enjoying it. That's the main thing. We have come up through a long ways, and we're here yet. I mean, talking about myself, right?
Thank you, Colonel. You never forget, and this is Linda's words here, you never forget those who help you in the very beginning. The center frequently works with various Manassas Park agencies when assisting small businesses and other clients. Mayor-elect Tricia.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Manassas Park has a long history, as Jackson said, with the Flory Small Business Center. Our city understands the significance of the Flory Center because the Flory Center embodies the importance of small business development in our area and also in our wider society. So Manassas Park values the important relationship between our city and the Flory Center. We appreciate and we thank you very much for this recognition. Thank you.
Business people often live in just one jurisdiction but work in another, so their entire services, the entire service area is connected. The current mayor's father, Hal Parrish is our current mayor, couldn't be here today. His father, Harry Parrish, was instrumental in creating the Flory Small Business Center. Councilman May. Oh, sure.
My colleague said I should speak first. Thank you, Mark. Just a few words. It really is a pleasure to be here and to represent the City of Manassas and our City Council. And being a part of the Flory Center is all important. That was established many more years before I served on council. But I have the good luck to serve as the council liaison on our Economic Development Authority, our EDA. And we have our chairman here and also the board member down the Flory Center, Mr. John Gregory, who you saw earlier. So thank you for this. And we're big supporters, obviously, of small business and soon to have our incubator or accelerator centrifuge in the city, historic downtown Manassas, opening sometime in January. And some of those counterparts are here today as well. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, seek one of them out. Thank you very much, Jackson.
Mark.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that the City of Manassas is obviously very interested in small businesses, and the tale I will tell is oftentimes as an elected official, constituents and various people will come up to you and say, I've got this business idea. And whatever somebody comes up to me, I always say, you need to go talk to Linda Decker because you may be good at making home brew or making bird chimes or wind chimes, but until you get the finances right, it's not going to work. And so we in the city are very appreciative of the Flory Small Business Center and all the people we've sent over the years who've been successful. So thank you.
Real briefly, before we get on with our last couple of awards, I want to talk about some of the two firms that were started up and it got help through the Flory Small Business Center. And this is kind of really exciting. It's what we all kind of hope for when we start a business. And it's amazing that the Flory Small Business Center was able to help some of these businesses that are now world-renowned or worldwide companies that are leaders in their industry. And the first one is American Military University, American Public University. Jim Etter, I believe, is here. He's the founder. And Jim, if you'd like to say a few words, would you like to come up?
I'd just like to thank Linda and her team. Before I met Linda, I'd spent 2 years in my basement trying to think of this idea about American Military University. Most people say that I spent too long in my basement doing that. But the school that I have right now and the size and scope is definitely part of how Linda taught me how to think, not so much what, but just being around that and studying in the library for month after month after month and a year. It was just a place where a guy like me could go and expand what I needed to expand to. So I want to thank Linda and her team for that. So thank you.
Next business I'd like to mention, it's airplane hangars. That's where businesses start. Basements, garages, and airplane hangars. The next company I want to talk about that is a worldwide leader and is an industry leader across the world. Very exciting because it's homegrown and they're right here in Manassas in Prince William County, is Aurora Flight Sciences.
Thanks so much. You know, it was said earlier, I think quoting Linda, that you never forget the people who helped you when you got started. And that's really true. And when we came to Manassas 27 years ago, two people really stand out. One was Ollie Kramer, who many of you know and remember, the airport manager at the time, and backed up by a really strong airport board. And they welcomed us when there was really no reason to, and we've been there ever since. And the second was Linda Decker, who helped and has helped at many crucial intervals over the growth of the company, not just in the day one getting started, but each time we've done an expansion in Manassas, the Flory Center and Linda have been there, and they're a community treasure. So thank you, Linda. Thank you to the team there, and thanks to everybody who supports the Flory Center and makes it happen, because it really does deliver on job creation. Thank you.
Thank you. Former member of the EDA, chairman of the Manassas City EDA was Joe France. He was a well-known businessman. He also served as chairman of the Flory Board of Directors for 22 years until he passed away a couple of years ago. And for those of y'all who didn't know Joe, he's a great guy. He was a member of my church family and just a gem of a guy. And when you have a guy like that on the board for 22 years, you can really see why an organization like this would become so grounded and such an integral part of our community. Too bad he couldn't be here today for this. Holmes, would you say a few words for us?
Thank you for allowing me to come today to speak to you. Back about 100 years ago, my grandfather moved to Manassas and started a small business in downtown Manassas. And we maintain a business in Manassas today, some 100 years later. And I remember early on in Manassas, I could go up to Chip Roar's father's dime store and get about a penny's worth of bubble gum, a great big huge amount. I mean, that was the old days. And I don't know how many times that I've talked to Linda Decker. She'll call me and I'll call her to get valuable advice. And we're lucky to have an organization like this to help us with the small business and to foster the new businesses coming in. And before I stop, I'd like to invite anybody that hadn't come down to downtown Manassas. It used to be, wasn't that long ago, that we had a bunch of vacant shops, etc. And now people are standing in line to want to take up a business down there. And I see a lot of people walking around, and we got restaurants. And so I'd like to invite everybody to come down to downtown Manassas in the evening or any time and shop in the shops and eat our food downtown. And I want to thank our members of the EDA. John Gregory has been on the Economic Development Authority when it used to be known as the Industrial Development Authority since the very start about 40 years ago. And he's still young and still kicking and offers valuable advice. And listen, thank you a lot. I appreciate it. And one more thing. The City Council has given us a lot of support, and that's highly appreciated. And we give a generous contribution to the Flory Center each year. Thank you.
The Flory Business Center has worked with the US SBA since its inception. The former district director, Ron here, continues to work with the staff on mutually beneficial projects. As a former banker in the private sector, he is well versed in the USA SBA's financial programs and services. Ron, say a few words for us.
Must say that I was honored and surprised. Scarlett came over at lunch while I was eating, said, "Hey, you're going to get an award today." And the only person more surprised than I was my wife, who is with me. But thank you. And just a couple of comments about Linda and the center. everything she ever did with us was first class. She always served. She would be on the committee to judge the small business annual award that we would have. We had our annual award ceremony at the Jefferson Hotel. It was always first class. So I can't think of a better advocate in Virginia for small business than Linda. Thank you, Linda.
So next on the agenda for these awards is the media. So I have to be especially nice this time, and I'm not going to invite them all in one group. I'm going to give each and every one of them their own time to come speak. Hope you all remember that when the editorial times come back out. First, I'd like to have Bruce Potter come on up. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the Northern Virginia Media Services.
Thank you, Jackson, and congratulations to the Flory Small Business Center on this outstanding occasion. We're delighted to be a part of it, and through Inside Nova here in Prince William County, we're really delighted to be able to support small businesses and to help to document some of the successes and even some of the challenges that small businesses face in this community. At the end of the day, we too are a small business, and so we certainly appreciate all the hard work and effort that goes into running a small business. And quite frankly, about 90% of our advertisers are also small businesses right here in this community. So we rely a lot on the success and the strength of the small business community here in Prince William, and we appreciate all that everybody in this room does to help support that community. Thank you very much.
Be especially nice here because the next award winner is actually one of my constituents also. So, Randy, you can have as much time as you like to speak when you come up here. You don't have to be rushed at all. Randy Reed, she's the editor of the Observer newspaper.
We always recommend the Flory Business Center to people who are new in business and they have questions, and unfailingly they come back to us and tell us how much they've been helped by Linda and her staff. And over the years, it has been very exciting to see people who have an idea, as you say, Jackson, starting in the hangar or the basement or just an idea, and have Linda and her group help them grow that idea. I talked to one lady today who is working with the Flory Small Business Center now, and it just gives you chills to hear their stories and what Flory is doing for them. So for everybody who supports them, and we certainly do, thank you so much, and thank you for the award. We appreciate it.
Next we have Uriah Kaiser. He's the publisher of Potomac Local. Uriah, can you come on up?
Thank you, Jackson. My name is Uriah Kaiser, Potomac Local. I will tell you that Linda Decker and her team take more copious notes than some reporters that I know. And the best part is she keeps those notes confidential, like some reporters should do. You know, growing up here in Prince William County, I used to chuck newspapers for the Potomac News. And after college, I sold advertising for the News and Messenger, or the Manassas Journal Messenger, before it was News and Messenger. And I wanted to, keep local news in our community. And so I founded 6 years ago now, the Potomac Local. We're online. And at that time, I knew I was really good about going to city council meetings and board of supervisors and chasing fire trucks to find the story. And I was a proud entrepreneurial journalist. And I realized I was lacking some of the entrepreneurialism that I needed to be successful, and that's where the Flory Center really came in to help and to support my business and to help grow it to what it is today. And through your support, you reading us, you telling us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, but you will always tell us, and I certainly appreciate that. So as we continue to grow and support the community, your support means so much. Thank you to the Flory Center for supporting Potomac Local.
I wonder if these guys will use any of these pictures of me when they're bashing me in one of those editorials that come around. No, I'm just joking. Next, I'd like to introduce, and this is a special introduction for our media advocate. For me, this next Advocate Award winner was a business person before she got into becoming a local journalist, and a very successful one at that. Rebecca Barnes is now the publisher for Prince William Living, a magazine I know that all of you all have seen, and it's quite enjoyable. And again, it's a special privilege of mine because we go back a long, long ways. She was been a good friend of mine for a really long time, and actually helped me in my first couple campaigns. It's something like we said earlier about Manassas Park helping out the Flory Business Center with all their money in the beginning. You never forget the people that helped you in the very beginning. And my special friend here, Rebecca Barnes, come on up.
Way down. Well, as Jackson said, I've been a business person for almost 30 years now, and I have the privilege of being a past chair of the Chamber of Commerce, a co-founder of Leadership Prince William, and publisher of Prince William Living. And one of the things that we do at Prince William Living magazine is we try to highlight the positive things in the community. That's solely our mission statement. So we focus on the arts, nonprofits, supporting volunteerism, education, workforce development, and economic development. And I have to tell you, the Flory Business Center is top-notch. There have been times where, even in my diverse business past, I've run into situations that I had literally no idea what to do. And I knew that I could call them up and make an appointment, come in, explain my situation, and they would point me in the right direction. If they didn't have the answers, they knew who did. I cannot tell you how important this is for small business. I only wish that they would let all of us do articles on them to tell the world about them, but they only get this much money, so they can only help this many people. So if you can find funding sources or grants for them, that would be awesome. But I wish that everybody could get the kind of help that the Flory Small Business Center provides to our community. So when you think small business, when you think economic development, I want you to think Flory, because there really is a deep connection there between the work that they do and the successes of the clients that they have. So thank you.
Surprise, it wasn't on the agenda. Excuse me. Okay, next for a few surprise last-minute Advocate Awards I'd like to give out. Starting off with my good friend of the 51st House District, Colonel Richard Anderson. Come on up, Colonel.
Say to all of you, thank you for your leadership in Prince William County. Everything you do, it's a blessing of public life to be able to get to know and work with so many great folks. Thanks so much.
Next, I'd like to invite who has now just recently become one of our budget conferees in the Virginia House of Delegates, which is an incredibly coveted position. Pastor Luke Torrey, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much for the privilege to be here among you, and thank you all for what you do for our county, for how you strengthen our communities. Prince William County is a wonderful place to work and to live and to serve, and I'm delighted to be with you today. Thank you.
Okay, and next is the Dean of the Prince William delegation, is Bob Marshall. Come on up, Bob.
When I ran for office in 1991, the same year that the Flory Center got started, I had no idea that the people of Prince William would keep punishing me and putting me back in office. But I figure this is the way to get out of purgatory, because sometimes you sure go through hell with what we do in Richmond. I want to thank all of you for thanking the Flory Center. Who could bring this diverse a group together peacefully to say nice things about each other and not cause a ruckus? There's no other group in Prince William that I can think of other than the Flory Center and all of its hardworking employees, and I'm thankful for whatever I have been able to do in your name to assist the work of the Flory Center. So thank you very much.
All right, so next I'd like to bring up Senator Jeremy McPike. And he's also here to take this award, but also to give a few closing remarks before we finish out today. Senator.
first wanted to take an opportunity to thank my predecessor, Chuck Colgan, who couldn't be here, but I think all of you know is always here with you in all of your endeavors. Congratulations on 25 years. In Prince William County, growing up here over the last 40 years, we've all seen a tremendous amount of change and opportunity and growth. And as I look and think about sort of the look ahead, right? I've got 3 girls, one in high school, one in middle school, one in elementary school. What is the next generation? What does the next 25 years look like? Prince William has become and continues to be a increasingly diverse, international county. Our entire region, Manassas Park. I've seen Manassas revitalized with so many small business, craft breweries, new restaurants. It really speaks to the opportunity, and it's an opportunity in a time where we do have entrepreneurs, in a time where we think about the challenges, and the challenges of those who are really starting to change the dynamic of how we do business, whether it's Airbnb or Uber or autonomous vehicles. We really have a change that is going to change how we have to deal with tax policy, how we educate, and many other things. And so what I wanted to close out with is where we've come from in 25 years, but also what the next 25 year holds. And it is and will take new entrepreneurs thinking about the next thing in our changing economy, in Virginia's new economy. And in Virginia's new economy, it will be important that we have the entrepreneurs that provide the foundation to change that's not as dependent on the federal government, right? I mean, our survival and health in Prince William and Manassas Park will depend on it, and it will depend on the entrepreneurs and the work that everyone does to small business. And so in closing, I'll ruin some of the surprise, which in the box on the tables is a pin that says Small Business Advocate. And it's a pin to wear. And at each of the ribbon cuttings we go to, and I know you share this as well, Delegate Miller, is that I say to people, we now have a responsibility to tell others about what's going on here and to advocate and to come and utilize the services and business and tell your friends and family. And that's the connections it takes, right? Everyone that's here in the room to come to the table, provide your connections, provide your recommendations, and help to sell and support these small businesses is vital. It is absolutely vital to our community. So I'm thankful that these pins are out there so we can continue to be small business advocates. And it's really been an honor to be here with you today. So thank you so much.
One additional form of recognition is for Delegate Miller from the the Business Center here at Flory. And Jackson, as the House Whip, has been a leader in moving legislation through the General Assembly. He's been a recognized supporter of business and small business by the Virginia Chamber, the local chamber, the NFIB, and of course now the Flory Small Business Center. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a wonderful lunch. It was great recognizing, first and foremost, the Flory Small Business Center for the incredible work they do. All of us elected officials talk about how we're there for jobs and we're there for business. And luckily for us, the Flory Small Business Center is there for our community to make us look good, right? We like to take credit for the work they do. Appreciate that, Linda. Thank you. We do it all the time, right? Finish off the day, we're going to have our chairman of the Prince William County Board of Supervisors come up and we're going to give a toast. Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. If you could all please stand and grab your glass. And by the way, I was really glad to see that the Washington Post is not here, because otherwise, as I grab my glass, we'd probably glass. They'd have me up here toasting, and at the bottom of the picture it would say, "Stuart Toast cuts to education," or some nefarious thing. But anyway, I just want to say, that's my revenge, by the way. I just want to say this is very special to me as well. You know, when I broke off from Foley & Lardner in 2009 and started my own practice, Linda was the very first person that I called. And actually, when we bought Bel Air, and which was restored by Dr. Flory. We also called you, and Dan, I want to thank you for all of your help, and you too, Jackson. He was our realtor. So anyway, congratulations, Linda and Donna and Savannah and all those at the Flory Center on 25 years, and here's to another 25 years. Congratulations. Yeah.